Hello students, in this video we will learn and discuss about the chemical properties of acids and base. In your previous classes you have studied about the chemical properties of acid and base. What happened when metal react with acid, what happened when metallic oxide react with acid, what happened when acid and base react together, and what happened when non-metallic oxide react with base. All these questions answer we will get in this video. So let's start. Now, what happened when metal react with acid? Right? So here we are looking into reaction of acid with matter. So what happened when metal react with acid? It produces salt plus hydrogen gas evolved. Right? For example, suppose sodium when react with HCl, that is hydrochloric acid, gives sodium chloride plus hydrogen gas evolved. Another example also you can take when magnesium react with sulfuric acid, it gives magnesium sulfate plus hydrogen gas is evolved. Right? Now what happened when acid reaction of acids with base? Right? It is also called neutralization reaction. Neutralization right? And neutralization reaction is also an exothermic reaction. Means when acid mixed with base, it produces salt plus water. Since it is an exothermic reaction, so heat is also evolved. Right? Example we can take. Suppose you have HCl, hydrochloric acid, mixed in NaCl, sodium chloride, right? Sodium hydroxide. It forms sodium chloride plus water along with the liberation of heat. So they cancel the effect of each other, they neutralize the effect of each other. That is why it is called neutralization reaction. Now, third reaction we are going to see is what happened when metallic oxide react with acid. Right? For example, here suppose I have sodium oxide react with hydrochloric acid, it forms sodium chloride and water. Right? So in this way we can say when metallic oxide react with acid, it produces salt and water. Is it clear? And in previous classes you have learned that metallic oxides are basic in nature. Basic in nature. How you are going to prove it? Simply we will add, suppose we have sodium oxide when dissolved in the water, right? Dissolved in the water, it forms sodium hydroxide, sodium hydroxide plus hydrogen gas. Sodium hydroxide is a base. That is why we can say metallic oxide is basic in nature. Now moving ahead into the next reaction. In the next reaction, what will happen when non-metallic oxide react with base? See, suppose you have carbon dioxide dissolved in calcium hydroxide. What is happening? Calcium carbonate will be produced along with water, right? So what is there? This is a salt and this is water, right? So we can say when non-metallic oxide react with base gives salt and water. In previous reaction also you have seen when metallic oxide like sodium oxide react with acid, it gives sodium chloride plus water, right? So it is salt, it is water. Here also you can see the salt and water. That means when metallic oxide, this is metallic oxide, react with acid gives salt and water. When non-metallic oxide react with base gives salt and water. This is acid, this is metallic oxide, this is non-metallic oxide, this is base. Right? So here something is similar with acid and base. Now in your previous classes you have studied that non-metallic oxide are acidic in nature. How you are going to prove it? See, non-metallic oxide, suppose you have taken sulfur dioxide, it is a non-metallic oxide, right? When dissolved in water, it gives sulfurous acid. It gives sulfurous acid. This is the formula of sulfurous acid. Is it clear? Now there is one question in your textbook. You have been given 3 test tube, right? Marking with A, B and C, right? And you have been given 3 substances: distilled water, acid and base. But you don't have been told about which test tube is containing what kind of solution that you need to find out, and you have been given only red litmus paper, right? So what we need to do is, the first what we will do, we will take the red litmus paper and dip in all 3 solutions, right? First we take the red litmus paper plus solution A, B and C. Suppose we know that base turn red litmus into blue, right? This is the formula about the litmus which we know. So suppose dipping litmus paper in all 3 test tube one by one, the solution which turn red litmus paper into blue will be a base, right? So suppose in the case of B solution, you got red litmus paper turning into blue. You remove this B solution. After afterward we take this blue litmus paper and dip in solution A and C, right? We know that acid turns blue litmus paper into red. So the solution, suppose A solution turning this blue litmus paper into red, then we can say A is acid, right? Now the remaining one is what it is. It will be a distilled water. Let's do the practical. I have red litmus paper along with me, so I also have 3 test tubes marking with A, right? A, you can see it's very light, A, and B, right, and C is there. Now I will put red litmus paper one by one into all 3 solutions. It is not changing the color. Now coming to the next, now the color is changed. So we can say the solution B is a base. Now if we turn into C, right, another litmus paper strip I have. So there is no change in the litmus paper. Now again I will put blue litmus paper into C to see the effect. There is no change, right? Now I am putting into A. See the changes in the color of solution. That means here I have watch glass in which I am keeping this solution, so that in a proper way I can dip the litmus paper. See the changes in the litmus paper is appearing. That means again it will be neutralizing its effect. After a while we can see this is totally changes into the color. See the changes in the color is appear. Now in that way we can find out the basic difference between the acid, base and distilled water. Now we are moving ahead into the next part, which is one of the activities shown in your book about the characteristics or the formation of Scl gas. In the activity 2.9, you will see there is 2 test tubes, right? in one test tube there is sodium chloride salt adding concentrated sulfuric acid, right? So what will happen when salt react with acid? See, when sodium chloride react with concentrated sulfuric acid, it produces sodium sulfate plus HCl gas, right? That HCl gas will come out from here. Is it clear, students? So HCl, since it is the acid turns blue litmus paper into red. So when you take the litmus strip here nearby the mouth, the blue litmus changes into the red. This is shown in the activity, right? Related to this, one question is appear in the book. If you have been asked to dilute the acid, how you are going to dilute the acid? There are two ways. Number one is either you add concentrated acid into water, or add water into concentrated acid. Which option will be right? The first option is right, add concentrated acid into water by drop or slowly. Why it is happen? Because when you have taken the concentrated acid, right, the concentration of H plus ions are more. Acid, how you are going to judge the strong acid, which one is a strong acid and which one is strong base? It is the acid which produces more H plus ions, right? More H plus ion said to be strong acid. For example, HCl, HNO3, H2SO4. They are strong acid. Why? Because they completely dissociate into the water. They completely dissociate into the water, right? For example, you see HCl, when added into the water, it gives H3O plus Cl minus. That means this is hydronium ion. So they completely dissociate into the water. That means they produce more hydronium ion or more H plus ions into the aqueous solution. That is why they are called strong acid. Right? Now, what are weak acids? What are weak acid? Weak acid. What are weak acid? Just opposite. They produces less H plus ions in aqueous solution, right? Number one. Number two, they do not completely dissociates into the water. For example, see carbonic acid H2CO3, formic acid HCOOH, right? Citric acid, many other acid also you can see, acetic acid. They are the common example of weak acid. Similarly, what are strong or first we will look into weak base. What are weak base? The weak base are the substance which produce less number of OH minus ions in aqueous solution, right? That means they do not completely dissociate into the water. For example, you can say zinc hydroxide, copper hydroxide. Is it clear? Magnesium hydroxide. So aluminium hydroxide. So they are weak base, right? Now, what are strong base? Strong base, which produces more OH ions in aqueous solution. They completely dissociate into the water. For example, you see sodium hydroxide. These are the examples: sodium hydroxide, calcium hydroxide, potassium hydroxide. They are the strong base. I hope you enjoy the video and understand the things. If anything you have not understand, please comment on the video. Definitely I will give the answer. Thank you for watching. One more thing which we need to take care about the salts, right? What are the sodium salt? I am just giving the example of sodium salt. Sodium carbonate, sodium sulfate, sodium nitrate. They are the common example of sodium chloride, sodium salt. On the other hand, we can see what are the common example of carbonate salt. Sometimes they also carbonate salt. Sometimes the question comes from here also. See the calcium carbonate, zinc carbonate, potassium carbonate and sodium carbonate. So these are the common examples of the salt. Please note down the example and learn. Keep it in mind. Thank you so much.